And welcome to the Board of Selectmen's meeting on Friday, the 12th of February at 10 a.m. The meeting is being held over Zoom as per the governor's edict number 12. I will call this meeting to order. Andy Fitch.
Here.
Kathleen DeWolf,
Present.
Fran Newton,
Present.
and Alan still hasn't been able to join us yet, but he will shortly. Craig,
I am here.
good. You want to tell us a little bit about Aed issues this morning?
Sure. Well, where do I start? I guess you guys all know about the problem we had Monday,
Yes.
and it's probably you've seen the big substation down there.
Yeah.
There's two giant transformers that I don't know. They're 12 feet wide by 12 feet long and maybe 10 or 12 feet high. They're pretty big transformers. So we have two of them. And that's what regulates the power that comes from Eversource. I mean, through the transmission, Eversource's transmission lines to us. And that's so that feeds those big, huge transformers, feed the town of Ashland their power. So Monday morning, whatever it was, 7:45, we had a complete power failure. We're not sure exactly what happened. Talking with technicians from Vespa and Eaton, they're thinking that the minimum problem would be the wires that connect from those big, huge transformers that go underground. They start on the top of the ground, they go underground, and they feed our little substation, which is that block building that you see inside the gates. So something happened between that and the inside there. There's a circuit breaker, a big, huge panel circuit breaker. That's, if you stood in front of it, it'd be tall as you were. It'd be 3 feet wide and 8 feet high, and the depth of it is pretty deep too. And those have big, it's taking like what you have for a circuit breaker in your house and making it huge, to handle the amount of power. So that caused every circuit in town to be shut down because something failed between the house in there and that big transformer outside. The best case scenario, there's a bad wire in there. Worst case scenario, there's something going wrong with the transformer itself. But they don't know that until they actually test it. And you have to have specialized equipment, nothing that we have on site to do that testing with, or even probably the expertise, even if Kevin was here, a qualified linesman, he probably wouldn't have the equipment to do it. So they're coming in Monday, and I sent all you guys the cost that I got to do this work. It's quite expensive, but right now we don't have a choice. If something happens today and the cold weather with the added power, and something happens right now, we are without power until we can get a portable semi-trailer transformer to come in and give the town power. And I don't know where the closest one would be and how much it would cost to do that. And then it's the connection time to get everything running. So your hours, if not days, without power, if something were to fail right now. So we got to get that fixed. So I'm not sure if everybody has signed that, but I have to give that guy that back, or he's going to have to push off what he did was he held these two technicians time out for Monday for us, blocked their time out as an emergency repair, and told them this is where you're going Monday, unless we don't, but they need to know what they're doing by today. So I need that signed by you guys, and I'm not sure if everybody signed it or not, but I need to email that back to him before the end of the day today, or we'll get pushed back a little bit further. And I don't know, he said, I don't know when I could get you in there. So that's where we are today. And of course, you guys all know probably by now that Kyle is leaving. He's going to the electric Eversource. And just a little history behind Kyle. He got offered a job when Rob and Kevin came on board, because when he was working with just Dale, it was just him and Dale. He was unsure of where they were headed, and he put in for a job at the co-op, and it takes a while to get called back. And when Rob and Kevin came, and they were all doing, he was happy, and he got an offer from the co-op to come up and work for them, and he denied that job because he was happy working with in Ashland Electric at that time, when he knew things were going good. They were working every day, and he was learning. So things were pretty good back then when we had a good crew and everybody thought we were doing well. But now he put in, when Kevin, he knew Kevin was leaving, he did the same thing again. And of course, co-op is looking for help. So he took it this time, and not co-op, Eversource this time, and he gave his notice. So his last day is next Friday. So that's so that leaves us with, Dale Weeks, which is out on military leave for, I don't know how long. It could be 2 weeks, could be, he told me it could be till June. I don't know if that's changed at this point. He hasn't notified me of any changes, so we just don't know when he'll be back. And the other one is Jacob Yetten, and he's starting his second year of NEPA, so he's really inexperienced. He could throw a fuse in about now, but that's about all he could do. And diagnose some things. But so we're in a little bit of a pinch. I did call NEPA because we signed that MOU a week or two ago to use their engineer to help us out on this. So between the engineer, they have a working relationship with Eaton, and they're the experts in the field. We're going to get all this work done and at least diagnosed what's going on with our substation right now. So in a nutshell, that's where we are. Does anybody have any questions so far?
Craig, I can't thank you enough for managing all of this. It's beyond most of our scopes. We probably all have a very basic understanding because electricity does come into our house, but beyond that, probably not so much. So thank you so much. You knew the people to reach out to. Now the board's in the position without a town manager that we have to make these decisions in public, which is unwieldy at times. Like we had to call a meeting today. I will sign that document. I did not feel I should sign it until it was discussed publicly with the rest of the board's input. So as soon as this meeting's over, if Catherine needs, I don't know how many signatures she has. If she needs another signature, I'll immediately come down to the town office, sign off on that so she can give it to you and we can get this into place. The other thing I would like to emphasize, we are in a terrible position at this point. This is beyond the scope of the town to manage without specialized help. The specialized help is quite expensive. We don't have the funds readily available. I'm sure we can move some lines and do some other accounting to manage this, but the public needs to know that AED needs major upgrades. And the substation, it wasn't until we had a new superintendent who came on board and emphasized to Craig, with DPW, that facility was in dire need of maintenance and upgrading. So that being said, we are going to have to expend quite a bit of money in order for the town to have reliable electricity. And we need to be competitive in our rates. We need to be competitive with, we have two major other entities, Eversource and the New Hampshire Electric Co-op, who have the funds to pay staff that we cannot offer. So it's understandable. If you can get a job across the river, so to speak, and you can get paid a better wage than what you're paying, why wouldn't you consider that? So we need somebody in charge of AED. We need trained and qualified, certified staff. And we need to face the hard facts that this will probably include a rate increase. We also have in line the new handheld meters to read the meters, but at the same time, we need to upgrade all those old outdated mechanical meters out there in order to accurately measure what electricity is being used, because we're losing money every time one of those little dials on a mechanical reader cranks around. It is missing electrical output.
I would like to echo Kathleen's thanks to you, Craig. You really stepped up to the plate big time. I mean, this was not your wheelhouse, and we are incredibly grateful for you stepping up to the plate.
Eli, I sent you guys, did anybody get their emails just before the meters?
I just got your email, Craig.
Maybe you could share that with everybody, and that I worked on that this morning. I built up a little spreadsheet for you guys so you could understand what our rates are, what Wolfboro rates are, what's electric co-op and everybody. So you'll have it right there in front of you, and you can see we're pretty low, comparatively speaking. And keep in mind, like what Kathleen said, we're not even getting what we should for the power. We're supplementing everybody's power in town. So just imagine a rate increase. We go up to what Wolfboro is charging. You know, we can make some money. I think I was talking to Rob, and you know, he doesn't know the exact figures because he doesn't have them in front of. Maybe it's something Catherine can help us with. But raising the rates just a penny is something in the lines of a $50,000. It's probably more than that, he said. Just a penny would gain another $50,000 a month to give us a monthly blanket. So that's just a penny. So I mean, imagine going up to at least 14 cents, and that's per month.
This is an excellent rate comparison right here. Here's the facts. This is where we're at, and this is not sustainable. We cannot continue along this path.
Yeah. And we're losing even more than that because of the meters.
Yeah.
This is a no-brainer. I'm sorry. We need to take action very quickly.
And I have to thank Rob Cool, who no longer works for the town of Ashland, for helping you, Craig, through this. He didn't have to do this. This has been, I would love to have him back on board.
Well, we can talk about that later. Today, I don't know if it has to be a non-public, but I did talk.
Yes, I'm thinking it would.
I have some information to give you guys, and I don't know if you want me to tell you it now, or if it's non-public, we can do that later.
That sounds like a non-public thing.
Craig?
Yeah.
Some of this, I would think that we would discuss on Monday in a non-public.
That's fine.
Does that make sense, ladies and gentlemen?
Yes.
Or if Craig wants to wait to the end of the meeting, we could enter into non-public, but.
I can do that too. I've given you
Chairman,
guys.
yeah, chairman's choice.
So, But I do have some information that I could share with you guys.
Yeah.
Right. If you want.
If you, Craig, if you could write it up and send it to us
Yeah, I can do that.
so that we can have just the little outline of what you have in store. It might make it easier for us to make a decision.
Yeah, I can write up my discussion with Rob and
Yeah, I mean, what you have shown us today with this is excellent. I'm concerned about the costs associated with what we're doing now. That's the other side of a rate increase. Going up a penny without really delving into the costs will work for a while.
Mhm.
But we don't have the overall view that we had with the water and sewer departments.
oh no, I could sit down and expand this chart a little bit. I mean, I got the data, I went through the data, and actually a lot of this data is right on our website.
Yeah.
And I went to the Wolfboro website, got some information off their website, put all the rates together, the meter charges, and that's just a static charge.
Yeah.
every And then just
Oh,
I put together a little chart for you guys to understand, because nobody seems to know. So everybody's got it. If we raise it up, at least we can get the people in. That's a monthly fee. So, I mean,
yes,
to get our people in here that we need to run this place, at least number one, right now, we need one person.
well,
And
that is why I said going up a penny right now
yes,
could make sense, but I want to see the actual costs of the department. Because that may engender another increase down the line.
Right now, this is just a Band-Aid.
Yeah,
And
yeah, I mean, we can,
frankly, I'm tired of the Band-Aid approach to a town infrastructure. It's becoming quite expensive. We need to be proactive instead of reactive.
but we were left with this,
Yep,
and we have to figure out a way through it at this time.
yeah, if we can get Catherine and Ann to look at the data, so if we can find out how many kilowatt hours we billed out last month, all we got to do is multiply that by 0.01, and we'll figure out how many cents we're going to get. We'll figure out our cost if we were to bring other people on and
Yeah.
things. I mean, paying somebody, a technician, to come at $80 an hour is too expensive. We could pay somebody, a superintendent, a lot less than that.
Yep.
Have the expertise. So, and that's what it will be, the $80 an hour, I think, was that MOU. Wasn't that $80, I think, an hour for him? From Vespa. Remember we signed that? You guys signed the MOU a few weeks ago, a couple weeks ago. I think it was $80 an hour.
I mean, Craig, what this does, it gives us a little bit of breathing room.
Yeah. So if Ann can tell Catherine what we billed out for kilowatt hours last month, we would have a real number I could put in this spreadsheet.
Where is all that?
Okay,
thank you so much. Well, thank you so much for doing this work, Craig, but man, we've got a lot of decisions to make.
Yeah, I think it's doable. I think we're not totally. I mean, we can fix things. We're gonna get even more revenue if we change the meter. So if we can sit down as a group and decide who we want to go through with Vespa, or if it's Eaton, and buy these meters, because remember what they both said, they have to build the meters first, and that's out. And then we can start deploying them piecemeal. You know, I think the guys, if we had a 3 or 4 man
The
crew,
one
Rob was saying they
able
do
to watch you, Bill.
50 meters a month or something. Along with the
Is
road.
this? No, this isn't showing this report.
Where are
right?
we getting other voices?
Is it Catherine?
Yeah,
So,
Catherine.
sorry about that on myself.
So Catherine, how many signatures do you need?
So are you talking about for the purchase order?
Yes.
Has anyone signed it electronically? I don't have any
I
physical
did.
signatures. Okay. That was Eli.
Yep.
I'm gonna pull it up to see who it went to next.
Okay, while she's looking for that, well, she needs 3 signatures at a minimum. As soon as the meeting's over, I'll drive right to the office and sign that.
I can do the
Okay.
same.
Thank you. And we
Yeah,
can get the
I'll do the
kilowatt.
same.
So there's 2.
No, I'll do it. Andy said he'll do it, so we'll be good.
And
Thank
Craig should be able to send it right off before the end of the business day.
Yep, I will, once I get it, yep.
Okay. Okay.
So can we set a meeting in the future with all of us to decide who we want to go with meters? Or if we want to go with meters? And make a decision on, because I think that's important to get the ball rolling.
Yes.
Well, I don't know if you guys are prepared to do that today, but maybe set another meeting and if you guys need some refreshment on what the presentations were, I can reach out to different people and get that info if you need to. Just let me know.
The sooner the better.
Yeah, we haven't even discussed this as the board. We had the presentations and then nothing was presented to us from the town manager after that point, and we then attended to other business. And here we are now, so.
So for you guys to make a decision, I'm gonna take some notes here. What kind of information do you want me to get you for the meeting that we're gonna? What do you need to know? What do you want to know?
We need to be able to compare between the 2 presentations we have. I see another entity came forward, but I'm not sure if we have time to now entertain a 3rd party. That will just put us back probably, could be even a few weeks.
We had Vespa, Eaton, and a company called Avcom
Yeah.
come through and give us proposals for that. I don't know if I have all that stuff. It may not have been copied on all that information early on. I may have to ask Eli to look through his town manager emails. And then maybe I can put something together similar to the rate chart for you guys and say, this is what Eaton's proposing. This is the cost per meter. This is what Vespa is going to charge you. This is the cost per meter, and with Avcom as well, if you want it. And then it'll be easily understood.
We also need side-by-side comparison of the timing and what the cost includes, the various services, so that we can be comparing apples to apples.
And as a reminder, we have the TAP grant ready to start moving forward. Probably as soon as the contractor can begin to break ground. So we have another big project in front of us that Craig's going to have quite a bit of participation and oversight over. So We have an awful lot on our plates for the next month.
Craig, one thing I'd like to see, compatibility with the water meters that we already have. I would hate to have to change all those water meters over. It would be nice, not necessarily necessary, but it would be nice if everything would talk to one computer so everything could be compatible.
My understanding is that water and sewers software was compatible with the town. It's the AED that had a totally different software program that took months to
Years.
transfer over to integrate it into the town's BSMI system. And as everybody knows, we still have major glitches with this software.
No, I'm not talking about the software. I'm talking about the meters themselves.
Andy, let me answer that question. The transmitter that Ashland Water and Sewer put on is compatible with the meters. That means that their transmitter will talk to the new meters on every proposal. That I asked that exact same question.
Yeah, that's what
And
it,
they will talk to the meter.
Thank you.
They are exactly, it's just if they wanted to do it, they would just add it to the package. I don't think there's really a cost to it either. I think it's just part of the software. They make them talk to each other.
that's what I recall too, but I couldn't remember if it was Eaton or Vespa, which presentation that question was posed to. But we can easily pull that information back up. So, Andy will know that that question was asked and how it was addressed, because I can't remember which entity it was that.
With
Yeah,
the water,
I'll get some more information too and make sure that whether there's a module charge or if it's just strictly electronic communications. But I believe it's something they set up in the software just to read that type of transmission device that they put on. But I think he said we're compatible with every transmitter for water. Their meter could communicate with any water meter, any water transmitter at the time.
okay. We also
I'll
have
make
to,
sure and I'll put it in there.
we also will have to look at the software interface. So that it can be brought, if it's a water meter, it needs to, the information needs to be able to be fed into the BSMI program. And right now, if it's a electric meter, it needs to be able to interface into the current software at AED.
And we're using Able software, right?
Yeah, we're using Able software
We inherited that system.
where it's, yes, we inherited that system. That's our billing system. And I understand that Able has said that they can provide the interface.
I just received our kilowatts per hour used for the last billing cycle, if the board would like to hear that amount.
Did everybody get what?
No, I didn't hear what Catherine said.
Sorry about that. I'm gonna go into the other room for a minute. Ann just printed off a report for me from the last billing for the electric usage, total kilowatt amount.
Okay,
It is 1,741,215 was our usage.
So I guess add that to a email message to forward to the board so we can add it to the information we need to make our decisions. Please. Craig, do you have anything else we need to be aware of?
I don't think so.
Though that's quite enough, but
Yeah, I mean, I plan on, yeah, I mean, we're working through everything. When something new comes up, I'm not sure what we're gonna do for new connections, at least until Dale gets back, because
Yeah.
I have one guy. So I really don't know what I'm gonna do. I gotta, if somebody's building a new house, I don't know how I'm gonna deal with that, but I'll try to figure it out for you guys.
Oh,
But yeah, we'll figure it out. I'll have to see if I can work with some of our part-time people to handle that connection, because one guy can't do it alone, you know.
I'm going to suggest that we contact IBEW, which is the International Brotherhood of Electric Workers down in Concord, to see if we can advertise with them for experienced people also.
that's an idea.
And yesterday, Catherine received a letter of interest from a Mr. Duffy, John Duffy. He's a PE. He's inquiring whether the Ashland Electric Department has any needs in the area of electrical distribution engineering. I think we need a new dictionary so that we understand. I have sent him out a email requesting a couple of dates and times for a Zoom interview so that we can at least hear what he has to say.
Okay, good.
This morning, speaking of AED, I have forwarded you all a email from Tiffany Hawkins concerning our AED billing issues.
Mhm.
To say that she was not very complimentary will probably be an understatement.
Yep.
But it is something that needs, I feel that it needs to be a top priority
Mhm.
because there's still a backlog of payments that have not been posted.
And this has been going on for months. I
And
share her frustration.
And I understand the frustration. I finally asked Mardine, who does most of the bill payment, all of the bill payment, in our household, how she's been figuring the AED payment. I asked to see actually what the customer receives. And, you know, I can understand people's frustrations. And I do believe that we can solve it. It's not just an issue of, well, let's hire another person to learn the system. Learning the system right now, with trying to get things done, I'm not sure that would work. But if we could get someone who could answer the phone, who could do some data entry, take some of the load off of the clerical aspects of what our utilities do, and be somewhat of a gatekeeper. That may help, that may give the personnel that we have on hand time enough to do their jobs and get everything caught up. What a lot of people don't understand is that the utility department was actually 3 individuals had a hand in billing for utilities. It's now down to 1, and everything is flowing through Ms. Sullivan. It makes it
think- yeah.
difficult.
I think we ought to draft a job description. We might even have a template for one to look for this office staff person. 'Cause it goes across the board too. If we have somebody out that's quarantined who might have any other issue that they are not able to come to their desk and do the job or even do something remotely, we have no cross training.
Well,
Or just
there-
the rudimentary cross
Yes.
training. And that would leave us in a dire situation.
and I do understand that the Able software is difficult to learn. Plus, they keep changing it. Able keeps changing it.
But we can't throw the baby out with the bathwater
No,
at this time. We
no, we
have to
can't.
manage it, and maybe down the road, a new, that might have to be revisited. But right now, that's what we have. We've got to manage it the best that we can. But we need the staff to support each other. First of all, we need the staff to work together. And this notion that this is my job and I don't do anything else at this point is causing some issues, and we need to, as Craig showed, he was willing to step out of his box and take care of issues. And we have to try to encourage other staff to get on board, and we'll do what we can to support them, and that they will be heard. Without a town manager, it now falls on the board to try to manage some of these issues within the town.
Since we've talked about town management, I emailed Alan Gould at MRI. There is an interim service available through MRI for us. The person would be working for us for 3 days a week over the phone and Zoom. He lives in Portsmouth.
How is this helpful?
Well, it would help Catherine in finance because she could get immediate responses.
Responses on something that he's not familiar with?
Well, I would think on some of the paperwork issues that she's having now of tracking 5 different people down to get signatures for normal processing.
I'm not comfortable handing over that duty to someone who was working remotely, who was not familiar with us or the town, it would be expedient, but supposing something is not forwarded correctly or it's not understood, then what's the remedy? And what's the cost?
It's I believe the cost was what he quoted us before. It's $85 an hour.
It's just for
Everybody likes that
expediting
term.
signatures. That seems like a huge cost. You know,
Yes.
we can just get down to town hall more often like we used to.
Yeah.
If that's the only thing that helps, you know, we've got bigger issues that a town manager needs to address than signature.
I agree with Fran. Fran and I are the two who remember the good old days, if you want to call them that. When we had a town administrator, it was part of our duties to go in usually a Tuesday or Friday to sign. We had to sign the manifest. We had to sign off on payroll. It was part of our duties. It became part of what we had to do during the week in order to have the town conduct its business. So I'm sure that this is not an onerous task to some of the members who are not familiar with that. We have kind of been doing it now for a couple of weeks. And hopefully we'll get a viable candidate applicant come forward that we can interview and take a seat at the desk in the town office.
Okay,
I don't support this right now.
Okay, that's fine. Speaking of candidates, I queried Mr. Gould from MRI, and right this minute, there are 8 candidates so far that are being, that they're vetting now. Mr. Gould also did say that most people apply at the end of the cycle.
Mhm.
So we have a few more weeks.
I have a question for the board.
Go ahead.
We've just been talking about all the major things that we have coming over the next month. If we have an application deadline of March 1st and we're gonna, MRI is going to be reviewing candidates and interviewing, that's, going to take a period of time, maybe several weeks up to a month. I think that there's day-to-day things that we need approval on that it's hard to wait for a full week or whenever this lesson's able to meet. I think since we are under town manager form of government, I think we should maybe consider appointing somebody like a part-time department head or something to have the authority to approve these things and not have to go to 5 members and wait for a decision. We're running into issues now where we are, having to take on additional responsibilities, and the 4 of us here are all really busy all the time. And then to add, additional things to our plate, it's become really challenging.
I don't believe the BOS has the authority to grant that to anybody. As the governing board, the buck stops with us, so to speak. And I can't imagine there's a department head who can take on any other task at this point. Craig has more than he needs on his plate right now. What other staff member would we delegate this to? And like I said, I don't believe we have the authority to do that.
I think that Chief Heath would be somebody that I would recommend. He's a part-time department head that
He's also on the school board, Catherine. And he just went through a health issue, so I would not even entertain forwarding that
Ladies and gentlemen,
request.
this is a discussion.
This is a non-public discussion.
This is a non-public discussion. I understand Catherine's issues. I have since Mr. Smith left a week ago Tuesday, I've set in there, Catherine needs some help.
Mhm.
She has suggested that we get, in order to finish out the 2020, is it, Catherine, tell us why you want Greg Colby to come in and work.
Well, we have a big backlog right now, and in trying to keep the ball rolling for current things and meet our current deadlines, and with our significant recent staffing reduction, and all the added work there is in HR, you know, with those things, I have a split role of finance and HR. We've had a backlog. We just finished up the 2019 audit. I did send the audit results to all of you. We have a governance letter that is chock full of items that need to be addressed.
Yeah.
We have to book those journal entries from the audit to bring on the beginning balances for January 1st, 2020. We did a software merge from QuickBooks for all the utilities to BMSI that needs to be fully reviewed and reconciled. We have a multitude of bank statements that we received and a lump sum that we have to go through and make sure all those transactions, you know, the activity was all recorded. And we've got to close out the books. We have our audit scheduled for April 2020, and I'm highly concerned that we'll have to request that be pushed back a little bit if we don't get on this quick. And it's really hard to keep the ball rolling and be training people, and you know, have some shortages. We had a part-time administrative assistant in this office who left that wasn't replaced. Now we have no town manager, and we're all trying to do our best. And I feel badly for the board. I understand the position that you're in, and it's the need is great there, and it's great in the finance and HR department as well. And he could come in and just work on the backlog for that, so we can catch up to current and have a good system for going forward.
I've interacted with Mr. Colby on numerous occasions. He was quite valuable, I understand, when we had to merge the utilities into the town system. He discovered some things that was hard to take with accounting, especially with the electric department. The only question I have, I don't know how Mr. Smith engaged the services. I don't know, did he just call up and say, are you available for such and such days to do such and such? I don't know how that was facilitated. I would be comfortable having Mr. Colby come in and assist Catherine on specific items that need attention right now. Does anybody know how? Was it just a phone
I
call?
do. Yeah, so
I think Catherine has an idea.
Sorry?
Go ahead.
I think you have an idea of how to contact him.
I do, yes. So he typically has one day available for his consulting clients. And he has been asking, saying that he's got a weekly day available to come and help us. And I've just been kind of waiting on an approval for that.
I think we ought to do it.
Yeah, I know he was on the payroll as a consultant accountant, and then it
Yeah,
disappeared.
he's a subcontractor. Yep,
Yeah.
so he's a subcontractor. Yep, we just pay, he invoices us and we pay him. We don't have to process any taxes or anything of that nature.
Do I
I'm
hear a motion?
I'll make go ahead, Fran.
I'll make a motion that we bring in Mr. Colby to assist with our finance issues.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? Roll call vote. Andy Fitch,
Aye.
Kathleen DeWolf,
Aye.
Fran Newton,
Aye.
Alan Silly,
Aye.
Eli Badger says aye. Catherine, you now
Thank you
have
very much.
the ability to talk to somebody.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Now, still within the semi-sphere of our money issues. Linda Guyette came to me yesterday and said that Franklin Savings Bank is going to start charging for their service. There's a yearly fee involved, and that's about $1,000. There's a monthly fee involved, and there will be transaction fees involved.
Are we
Um,
committed to them? Can we switch banks to find out if we can do better?
This is one of the things that I'm trying to set up a meeting with the Franklin Bank, because these are things that Charlie was in the middle of, apparently. So I'm going to try to find out starting Monday what the issue is. I have a contact person, and I'll get back to you. One of the things I do know is that Franklin Savings Bank doesn't provide credit card services, which is one of the things that Charlie has been hot on.
Yeah.
I was going to mention that because that's where the money on online payments goes,
Yes, to Franklin Savings Bank.
right?
I know there's been issues in the past because these are considered, correct me if I'm wrong, cash accounts, and why
Well,
that much cash was sitting in an account when it could be dispersed. That's only the basic information I have. And that being
Right.
said, I would like the town treasurer to give us an accounting of the cash accounts that are under her purview. Because there could be areas where we could be saving money, or we could tap those cash funds. I'm guessing they are not garnering very much, not that much interest, and that it could help with maybe some of our cash flow issues, especially with the utilities.
I'll just quickly make a comment. Those accounts have never seen withdrawals.
Seen the what, Alan?
They have never had a withdrawal, none, zero.
Yeah. I think it's time for us to revisit this. So if maybe by consensus that we request the town treasurer to give us an accounting of the cash accounts that are under her purview.
I would agree.
I agree also, and also at the same time in reading the information on a treasurer's job, we recently had a episode where our accounts weren't balanced in a timely fashion. It does state that.
Let me caution.
Yeah, be careful.
Okay, all
Let's
right,
put it-
then I'll
the audit-
pass on it. I'll
the
pass on
audit-
it till non-public.
Yeah, the audit showed there are items that could be actionable, that should be addressed.
We have items to be addressed, and
Okay,
I think that we have to discuss those items in another venue
Yep.
at this time.
So that's another issue that Catherine has forwarded to us, that we need to review the audit. Because my understanding was there had to be a little finagling to get it to be signed off so it can be presented and meet the deadline. So we need to discuss that as a board. Some of the issues in the almost and Fran probably can attest to this. It appears some of the issues have been outstanding for at least 3 years that we need to say, come on, let's tighten this up, let's fix it. So
It's our homework to review the audit.
and I believe Catherine sent us a draft.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I sent the final. We got the final report.
Oh,
And I have
okay.
the hard copy here at Town Hall. We just received them in the mail yesterday.
I have a hard copy of the draft, but I can annotate it with the things that have been had action taken on.
When I come down to sign, I will pick up a hard copy, Catherine.
Perfect.
Oh, what else?
Okay, Catherine, do you have anything else that is pressing?
I'm just looking over my list. I do have some items for non-public at a point, but I think we've touched on most of the major public items for discussion at this point.
Okay, in setting up Monday's agenda, we'll put non-public items in there.
Mhm.
And Catherine, if you can give me a hint, please send me an email with those
Yeah, I can
items
do that.
so that I know which part of 91A to mention.
I will certainly do that.
Okay?
Thank you.
As far as Monday's meeting, there is, our first order of business is a public hearing
Mhm.
on Article 21. Otherwise than that, what is your pleasure to have on the agenda?
Well, it looks like we might have multiple non-publics to address personnel and
Mhm.
what is the verbiage when you're discussing
Uh,
monetary items that we do not want?
Martine gave me my cheat sheet
Okay, yeah,
Uh,
the one where we talk about costs that we,
and when Catherine communicates with me about some of the items, I will
make
code
sure
them.
we have the right 91A
Yes,
notation.
and I need to thank you, Kathleen, for sending me the oral arguments link.
Yeah, I
Okay.
watched them just before this.
Yes, it was an eye opener for me.
Okay. It's-
So hopefully we will have a judgment soon. But it is a it's publicly viewable.
um,
We
But
have some issues with Craig that we need to discuss on Monday as well.
Yes,
Yeah.
Some in non-public and some in public.
public.
So Craig,
Yes, I'm here.
send me, I've got to post them. Well, the meeting has already been posted. As far as one of the last things that Charlie did is set up the
Public hearing.
public hearing. The problem is that I'm
It's a
sort of in
holiday.
charge- I'm sort of in charge of getting the agenda out, which we actually don't need since we've noticed the meeting. But an agenda for us. I would like to get one posted. Well, I have to get it posted by the end of the day. So if you have any things that you want on the agenda, please send them to me. And we'll figure out where they fit. The AHS is wondering about their $2,000. How that's going to work out. The repair to the covered bridge.
Oh,
I know that Craig would like to respond to that, and we can do that on Monday.
okay.
So please send me things that you feel that we need to discuss.
Eli, did you want to set a meeting for the meters, electric meters. Do you want to set a date with everybody's comfortable with? So I have a target to get information to you.
Okay, Craig, how long do you think it would take to get it together?
Why don't you do something next week? I know it's a short week. We're off Monday. So, I mean, towards the end of the week, Thursday or Friday, something like that, maybe.
Okay.
Alan, you have the most important job out there.
Which one?
Yeah. What's your availability?
I'll try to make it work. That's all I can say at the moment. I have job commitments. I have jobs going that I have to get done. I will do my best to, just like today. I made myself available.
My
How
week
about-
is wide open.
Yeah,
So
How
anytime
about-
works for me.
How about Wednesday at 1 o'clock?
Folks, I'm sorry, but it's not going to work. I've been drafted by Waterville for this week coming. I probably won't get home until after 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
How about a 6 o'clock meeting or something like that?
I can make that work.
Alan, is that better for you?
Yes, it is.
And Craig, I'm sorry, I've tried to keep it within your work hours, but
Yeah, that's fine. I'll get the information. Just send me the request and I'll make sure I sign on.
okay. Would 6 o'clock on Wednesday be okay?
I can work. I can do it.
Yep.
Okay,
No, we don't have planning board till the next week.
Yeah.
Okay.
that's one reason I chose it. Is there anything else people want to say?
I just, once again, thank you so much, Craig, for stepping up and helping us in this situation.
Don't be too nice to him. He'll
Oh,
want
well,
to
you know, I'm going to give it to him now because who knows, he might not hear it in another month. So, so I want him to know personally, this is fantastic that we can show the public that we do have the ability to work as a team and that we appreciate our staff.
Does anybody else have anything they want to bring up at this time?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention that I had a chat with my neighbor who works for Eversource. And he explained a lot of stuff to me about the substations. That is what he does. Unfortunately, right now, he is home. He is staying there. He has some medical issues, so he's not going to move on. If we get to a point where we've got to hire people and we don't have any experience on board, he might be somebody that we could tap, as long as he didn't have to show up, to be a knowledgeable person on a interview committee.
Oh, like to interview if we need a superintendent or some other certified support staff for AD?
Correct. That was what I was thinking, because none of us do have the knowledge.
Thank you, Andy. Craig can add that to his list of
Okay.
resources we might be able to use.
Anybody else have anything? Hearing none, I will ask that a motion be made for adjournment.
So moved.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.